In late August 2016, 5 members of the RNC's top 6 met at Lutula House one Monday. Part of their agenda for that day was to hear the feedback from the NC MPs who were part of the parliamentary ad hoc committee established to appoint a new public protector. Now former RNC MP, Dr. Marcosi Causa, and backbencher, Bongani Bongo, arrived to deliver the verdict. Busisiwe Mkhwebane was the chosen one. President Jacob Zuma leapt to his feet and effectively exclaimed, "No, then we have a candidate," and declared the process complete. As a result, other members of the top 6 did not ask Causa or Bongo any questions. If anyone in the room was taken aback by Zuma's reaction, they did not show it. But one person, who was in the room, and who wished not to be named, remembers thinking, "Oh my God." The outspoken Causa, who chaired the ad hoc committee in 2016, told News 24 this week that the process had been very good. "It was the first time it was done so publicly," she explained. All the committee meetings and the all-important interviews were broadcast live. She did not wish to be drawn into detail about the top 6 meeting. News 24 spoke to a number of MPs involved in the interviews, and the general consensus was that the process was run fairly and transparently. The nominations were submitted by the public. In the end, the committee, which was made up of proportional representatives from all political parties, settled on Mkhwebane. The committee's report nominating her was tabled on the 7th of September 2016 before the National Assembly, which voted overwhelmingly in support of the nomination, 263 to 79, with 1 abstention. Zuma signed off on the appointment in early October 2016, and Mkhwebane took office the same month. Bongo, a member of the committee at the time, and former State Security Minister, told News 24 on Wednesday that Zuma definitely did not know Mkhwebane, "Believe me." Zuma was asked if he recalled the meeting at Lutula House, and whether he instructed any member of his staff to submit Mkhwebane's name for consideration. Through his spokesperson, Zuma said the appointment process was transparent. Former President Zuma rejects the insinuation that advocate Mkhwebane's appointment was somehow engineered by himself as President of the RNC and the Republic. Asked about the feedback meeting with the RNC top 6, Bongo denied that Zuma showed any reaction when it was announced that Mkhwebane would be nominated. The process. "It was fair and square," he said. Several MPs confirmed that it was Professor Christian Mziman, an IFP MP, who pushed strongly for Mkhwebane to be included in the final shortlist of 5 candidates, despite protestations that stronger, more experienced candidates existed. An RNC MP said they remembered feeling uneasy about Mziman's move, and was left wondering whether his KZN roots played a role in his choice for the shortlist. Mziman was not immediately available for comment. The RNC had up until that point openly favoured High Court Judge Sairaj Desai. But Desai's interview had been nothing short of a fiasco. Mkhwebane, on the other hand, impressed many. She was articulate while being grilled. She was soft-spoken, but forceful. She never lost her temper. She remembered every MP's name. New suspicions are rising that Mkhwebane's appointment may have been a carefully constructed game of political chess. Little evidence exists of this, except for recommendations made in Mkhwebane's public protector reports, which have come under increasing fire for their perceived political slant. But at the time, there was just one small blot on Mkhwebane's record. She was employed as an analyst at the State Security Agency, a spy by any other name. At the time, when questioned by DA MP Glynis Britten-Bach about her role as an analyst at the State Security Agency, and whether this was not a demotion from her previous post as a director in the Department of Home Affairs, Mkhwebane was casual. "No, it's not a demotion," she told MPS during her interview. "It's a different kind of expertise, or experience. Going to work at the State Security Agency is to make sure we protect the Constitution." According to Causa, allegations about Mkhwebane being a spy were never substantiated by the DA MPs Britain Bark and Werner Horn, who had raised concerns with her as the chairperson at the time. The DA eventually declined to support Mkhwebane's nomination, and Britain Bark made it clear it was due to her links with the State Security Agency. She also told the House at the time that Mkhwebane was by no means the best candidate, and she had been illogically preferred over other candidates. Causa said it was only much later, when Mkhwebane started to come under fire for her controversial Absa Bancorp investigation findings, that she began to wonder. If you have judges making findings on the competency of someone to hold office, I was becoming increasingly worried that Mkhwebane was getting involved in the political space. It was worrying me that she was now coming with issues that were defeated during internal RNC debates. Causa was referencing the issue of changes to the South African Reserve Bank's mandate that Mkhwebane had recommended in a June 2017 report on apartheid-era bailout of Absa Bancorp. Causa also referenced Mkhwebane's habit of seemingly targeting ANC leaders who were perceived to be the more ethical than others, such as Pravin Gordhan. "I am not saying there is nothing with Gordhan, but it is worrying. As politicians, we are not necessarily legal gurus. I don't think we paid enough attention to the information that was coming to us. I think it is important that we should maybe have led a panel of legal experts that could have tested key competencies," Causa said. Julius Malema's words in August 2016 turned out to be prophetic. This is what Malema said on the 24th of August 2016. "Even if she was Zuma's preferred candidate, he will not be there at some point. If she tries any shenanigans, the institution will expose her for what she is." Setting aside the Public Protector's report into the Esternaderi matter on the 20th of May 2019, Judge Ronald Tolomei, in the North Gauteng High Court said, when the Public Protector fails to discharge her mandate and duties, the strength of South Africa's constitutional democracy is inevitably compromised, and the public is left without the assistance of their constitutionally created guardian. It means that a vital constitutional check against abuse of power is lost. Mkhwebane completely left out the role of political players in her report on the Esternaderi farm debacle, sparking a court challenge. AC Magashule and Mzimba Zone, non-Gupta-linked politicians, seen to be aligned to the Zuma faction in the RNC, were essentially absolved. In the matter before us, it transpired that the Public Protector does not fully understand her constitutional duty to be impartial and to perform her functions without fear, favour or prejudice. Judge Cynthia Pretorius found in the North Gauteng High Court on the 16th of February 2018, setting aside the Public Protector's report into the Absa Bancorp and South African Reserve Bank matter. Pretorius also ordered that Mkhwebane pay 15% of SAB's legal costs in her personal capacity, some 900,000 rand. In recent weeks, Gordhan filed a review application against Mkhwebane's report on former SARS Deputy Commissioner Ivan Pilay's early pension payout and reappointment, in which she found Gordhan had violated the Constitution. She, in turn, indicated notices were sent to Gordhan, indicating adverse findings against him were imminent in another report, this time about the establishment of the so-called rogue unit at SARS. In the past few days, it has emerged that Mkhwebane has found against President Cyril Ramaphosa on the Busisiwe matter, giving her critics more ammunition to claim she is operating under the guise of politics. The complainant in the Busisiwe matter, the DA, is seeking to have a motion heard as soon as Parliament convenes this year to see Mkhwebane removed from office. But it is Mkhwebane's battle with the SARB that is likely posing the biggest threat to her continued tenure as public protector. In November 2018, her appeal of Pretoria's ruling was heard by the Constitutional Court, but with an added caveat. The SARB filed a cross-appeal, asking the Court to declare that she abused her office during the investigation. Her crime? She consulted President Zuma's legal advisor and the State Security Agency days before releasing her report and discussed the SARB mandate change. If the grapevine is to be trusted, the court's judgment will be handed down in the coming days. It will be Parliament or the Constitutional Court that decides Mkhwebane's fate, despite her claims that only God could remove her. Please check in the description box below for the links to the sources of this report. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.